viewers, welcome to another wonderful episode of Punch Sports Extra. My name is Shegun Odmari. I have Abiodun Adewale here with me, my co-anchor, co-analyst, and co-driver. Together, we'll be driving you guys into a 20, 25, 30 minutes sports production. Abiodun, good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon to you, Shegun. I think it's been so long that you've even tried to forget. I think it's the first time in about over a month that we'll be together on the show.
Wow. That's true. That's true. You are not around at some point. I was not around
at some point.
So it's good to have the partnership back. The Kevin De Bruyne, Alan combo.
So let's call goals.
Yeah, let's put in the goals. All right. Let's start with Punch Sports Extra. Like we always do. We have a game today, but it's more of a training for the Super Eagles and a preparation for the World Cup qualifiers continuation, because of course Rwanda is in that group, and we know what happened when last we faced Rwanda, and that we are playing today in AFCON qualifiers. That is more of a dead rubber game, but we are going to be preparing to play them again in the World Cup qualifiers, and that is where we need all our big guns to be on top of their game. Biodun, Nigeria, Rwanda, today, like I said, dead rubber, but we need to know what they can do.
Yeah.
So that when we are coming up against them in the World Cup qualifiers, we are ready. Front page this morning, Punch Sports Extra.
Dead rubber, dress rehearsal. And I think it favors us this time because Rwanda at this point in time still needs to do everything they can to beat the Super Eagles to stand a chance of qualifying for the World Cup. And at this point too, we can afford to field players we did not even bring to camp in the first place in this game and let them just play, while our technical crew, backroom staff are working on different areas about the Rwanda team, because like you said, by March 2025 the World Cup qualifiers will continue and we will be facing them again. But it's still a long time between now and March. A lot of things will change. Even coach Austin Eguavon, who is interim now, is the interim manager, he said it yesterday that in 2025, he might not even be in charge of the team, but he's having the mentality that we want to win all game. And we know that we have to win all game beginning from March 2025 as well. So a lot will still change between now and then. But I think it favors us this time that we can afford to see everything that they can do. But some of our performances too, as translated to, we've seen the handwriting too. But it remains, maybe the Super Eagles will put it on the wall, but I don't want them to put it on the wall. It seems we can't still do better on away soil, and that's one thing we need to get very correctly before March 2025. That is what we need to even stand a chance. It doesn't guarantee that it will take us to the World Cup, but we must win all matches, and we still have like 3 tough away games to play in the World Cup qualifier.
Biodun is already preparing for the World Cup qualifier against Rwanda in March, which is some months away. I mean, still 3 full months into the new year, and 1.5 from 2024. But that is what is leading our front page this morning. It's a dead rubber game, perhaps an opportunity for some of the boys that do not make the headlines to also make the first 11 this time. But we'll be coming to that game. We are still staying with the front page of Punch Sports Extra. And yes, a swap deal between Napoli and Manchester United. Zekazi, the 9.5, or is it 9 below? One of the two.
8.5.
And a proper 9 in Victor Osimhen. They said they are going to be swapping places. There's a deal set to be in plan. Amorim wants Osimhen, and Zekazi can go do some 8.5 football with Galatasaray. There's been a lot about Victor Osimhen. Going here, Chelsea today, Liverpool tomorrow, staying in Gala next tomorrow, upper day. I mean, is this a possibility?
It is a possibility because, at least for the first time in many months, we are seeing a United manager coming out to say, you want this guy. That is one thing we did not hear under Eric Ten Hag. One thing we did not hear under any interim manager that I've had. So it was just, all of them were just doing like fanboys around Victor Osimhen. And like I said it the other time, then too, that a club like United then will still go for a 30-year-old Harry Kane before any striker in the world then. And they went for other strikers when they could not get Harry Kane. Now, Amorim is saying, Osimhen, Jeka Jory, and all of that. But he might not be able to work that way because a lot of recalibration will still have to be done on Osimhen's mind and soul. He wanted to go to Chelsea, but at some point when they were offering him some kind of money, he said, no, it's not worth it. And the Premier League might not be looking like that fancy league to him at the moment. He's enjoying life at Galatasaray at the moment. And those ones are looking for different kind of persons to come and sponsor their transfer fee. By the time they will be putting some money into the Osimhen transfer fee and try to lure him away from Napoli. So looks like Galatasaray have the upper hand as it is. The only problem they have now is they don't have the money. So they will do a lot of, Man U will do a lot of recalibration with Osimhen and his agents to ensure they bring him back to the Premier League.
Calibration needed for Osimhen to win with Amorim. All right, beautiful one there. Salah is not world class. Troy Deeney, my goodness. This is a guy that was remembered only for that spectacular goal that he scored at Watford against Leicester. Saying a man who is on his way to becoming highest goal scorer in England, in the English Premier League ever. I mean, it's still a long way out to me, looking at Alan Shearer, but he's on the list. And a man who did not succeed in playing 3-4 seasons.
And a man that does not have a national team career.
My goodness.
So, but Troy Deeney says a lot of these things.
He's an analyst. He analyzes a lot of
things.
Yeah.
Good for him. He had a decent career with Watford.
Decent. Was that decent?
Yeah, decent for a mid.
Was that not below average?
For a mid-table team, it was decent, very decent for their standard. But beyond that, there was nothing that he could show. While he was talking about Salah, he had this definition of world class, and I like the fact that he also put himself there. That his own definition of world class is if he's telling his son to watch a player. If he cannot tell his son to watch a player, that means the player is not world class. So
he cannot tell his son to
watch Mohamed Salah.
Fantastic.
So Troy Deeney says a lot of these things.
Yeah, he does. Even his writing sometimes, you know, there was a time they had to list
some of his error stream.
Is fantastic.
Error stream articles on on some of the biggest websites in the world.
I was worried. All right, I think that's what he does to stay on the headlines. I mean, it's on our headline, so he needs to keep saying things like that. But hey, Mohamed Salah not world class. I think I'll fault that comment. Very quickly, Gurasi is the highest goal scorer in the AFCON qualifiers. Did you see his goal this weekend?
He has only played 3 matches.
That goal is wicked.
And he has 6 goals.
That this weekend's goal was wicked. A left cross, and he threw himself an Osimhen-ish kind of. He threw himself at the ball. Oh my goodness. I think that's what earned him a move from Stuttgart. It was quite unknown before. Yeah. From Stuttgart to Dortmund. And he's still doing great things. And
that reminds me, did he make the 10-man short list for the CAF player of the year?
Gurasi. Yes, I think he did.
Okay.
Yeah, Gurasi.
Because he could have one of the biggest omissions by CAF if they didn't put him on that list. He had a fantastic season in the Bundesliga last year. One of the revelations of that league.
He was just scoring.
And he has only played 3 matches in the qualifiers. He could even extend that in the last round of matches that is starting today.
All right. Now let's keep it with Arsenal. Arsenal wants to extend their stadium, Emirates Stadium. I think their fans will be interested in increasing or extending their trophy cabinet. I mean, what's with them and trying to extend their stadium?
Extending the Emirates by extension would mean that maybe there had been no space in the trophy cabinet all these years. Maybe that might be the solution. And I think another thing that maybe some of their fans will be bothered about is their ticket pricing as well. One thing that I'm sure the Emirates extension will bring is higher ticket prices at Arsenal. And if you check it, they are if they are not top, they are like in second place of the list of clubs that their tickets goes for the highest prices. So I'm very sure by the time they expand, it comes with high fee for tickets as well. But then trophies needs to be the cabinet needs to be expanded.
I think that one is sacrosanct and very important as regards how Arsenal fans feel. All right, Edo Queens. Yes, Edo Queens hails Essien's triumph. I mean, just look at Edo Queens. Made it to the semi-finals of the Women's Champions League. The money they are receiving is worth how many millions again? It's in dollars, but it's crazy money.
$300,000.
$300,000. I mean, I just knew it was crazy money. Yeah, $300,000 because somebody was saying the sharing formula should be 100 to the coaches, 100 to the players, and 100 to the club, and that they should use that. And Ahmed Musa was saying on social media that he hopes the money will be used properly for the girls. But this, I mean, we don't really see too many times where our girls, I mean, female players and their club sides do great things like this. I watched that comeback. They won it in the dirt. Their coach was screaming all manner of languages. I couldn't understand. He wasn't speaking. I mean, he was just screaming at the camera. He was gone. Of course, he was gone. But $300,000 semi-finals, and they are not even in the finals. Big girls, big girls.
This is the fourth edition of this tournament. They are the third Nigerian team to be there. They are in the semi-finals, just like Bayelsa Queens did in 2022. We hope they make the final. That's another history. The fourth Nigerian club to make the final. But in terms of money, $300,000 is a lot. And a lot of people will say sharing formula and all of that, but these things don't work that way. The money won't even go to Edo Queens directly. The money will come straight to the Nigeria Football Federation. And I'm very sure the way it works is some percentage for women's football development.
There are too many pauses along the way.
Along the way, so but the larger chunk of it will be that CAF will even mandate that the NFF ensures that the money goes into football development. But it's their participation fee and all of that. So whatever message is coming from CAF, it should be relayed that way, straight to Edo Queens. You know, they are the biggest benefit girls at this point in time. And it's coming at a time too. Their success is coming at a time too when there is a transition in Edo State too. So I think it will be something win-win, something that unites every angle, every corner in the state of Edo at this point in time. The girls are winning. They are putting the state on the map again.
All right, very quickly, last one for the day. Jonathan Tah is a target for Chelsea. I think everybody is a target for Chelsea. Bjorn, if you start put your boots on today, you probably go to the field, you score 2, 3, 4, 5 goals. Tomorrow, you say you're a target for Chelsea.
Makes me wonder the number of defenders that they actually need. They chased Tosin Adarabioyo, got him. Chased Disasi, got him. Chased all manner of defenders that you want. You wonder who else Chelsea will be thinking. It looks like all. I think we are beginning to see a glimpse of structure. A structure in what they are doing, except for the fact that their contracts look like slave trade.
Yeah, 7 years.
7 years, 8 years. But it looks like the players are getting there. Look at where they are on the table right now. They might be playing against some clubs from Jew in the in the UEFA Europa Conference League. But look at what they are doing in the Premier League. They are not playing. So it looks like all those investments are finally paying off. They are finally paying off. It's brick by brick.
All right. Away from the front page. Hey, if you need more stories, of course, you can always get them on Punch Sports Extra newspaper. Just visit your vendors and have a quick grab. And while you're taking a sip, you're taking a quick read. Very quickly, we move into the other half of the show. I think it's very important that we talk about the Super Eagles and their game against Benin Republic. You were saying earlier that it looks like it's impossible for us to win away from home. And going into March 2025, we need a lot of wins. Yeah. We need a lot of away wins if we need to qualify for the World Cup. I mean, you thought you qualify. There's no need for stress, no edit, no mathematical calculation that Nigerians are used to. Please save us that. But very quickly against Benin Republic, we played a 1-1 draw. Hours before that game, we got to know that we had qualified because of what Libya did against Rwanda. They got all 3 points. Yeah. But now, 1-0 it ended. Highlights of that game, it was a poor performance from the Super Eagles.
Sure, very.
I mean, everybody was playing as if they were just on holiday. Lookman was not Lookmaning. Even Osine made some un-Osine kind of balls. Boniface was sleeping as usual whenever he's playing, wearing the green and white. Even our goalkeeper, the man who it was his year. This is his year. Man of the year, Stanley. Well, sadly after that, we heard that he lost his father. So perhaps he was already in the mood even before the news came on. Who knows what was going on? Overall, 1-0 draw, but we qualified after all.
Yeah, one thing before that game, I wish we had not got the news that we had qualified. It was a non-excusable excuse that anybody could have made for that embarrassing performance against Benin Republic. Because imagine if it was a game that we needed, things would have gone different ways. And it shows how these same guys, our neighbors, have been able to handle us, especially on that ground, a no man's land for that matter. A ground that the Super Eagles can even call
their own because they were there in January.
They were there in January, February. They played most of their matches at the Africa Cup of Nations there. So it looked like the team didn't really gel for that particular game. So, like you said, maybe Stanley Nwabali might have got the news of his father's demise before the start of the game. You know, those kind of error was what got Francis Uzor
kicked out
of the number one, that got the number one shirt away from him. The same thing with Maduka Okoye.
Yeah.
Those kind of errors were the ones that stripped them of the number one shirt. So imagine if it was not Nwabali's image with Nigerians at this point in time. Imagine if that game cost us our qualifying ticket. We probably will be looking for another goalkeeper by now.
Of course.
But generally, it was a poor performance from the team. They didn't look like a well-coached team in the first half. But we saw some changes in the second half. And Osimhen knows how to make amends for some of these things. Miss easy chances, score difficult ones. Very typical of him. And the icing on the cake for him was going on 23 goals, same as Segun Odegbami. Meanwhile, that record has stood, not Rashidi Yekini's record now. Osimhen has been on this record. He might not be chasing it individually, but if you look at the numbers have been chasing Odegbami's numbers for a while now. It took him some time before he got there as well. But
he's 25.
He's 25.
He's number 2.
If he scores again today, he will be 10 goals behind Rashidi Yekini. Just 10 more goals. He has
years ahead. So
all
I
the
think
years ahead.
He's our highest goal scorer in waiting. I think it's safe to say
safe to say that. But you wouldn't want to admit that. He had already said Rashidi Yekini is the greatest Nigerian. For his record to have lived that long too. But I think I don't know. I don't know what we are doing with age group football at the moment. It doesn't look like we are doing anything seriously with it. I don't know when we'll see. Okay, we've seen this guy recently, Kwarabo Ahiri, that beyond limit striker who was with the under 20. That looks like another.
But the under 17 boys looked really young and good
and very good. So that guy looks like another Victor Osimhen to me. So but I'm just predicting that by the time Victor Osimhen gets to 35 goals, breaking Yekini's record, how long is he going to stand as well? So let's leave Osimhen aside. Super Eagles, that performance against Benin Republic, they have to kill it, bury it, and put up another kind of performance for Nigerians to see. We'll forget about the AFCON qualifiers very soon. We'll be waiting for the draws. But by March 2025, the pressure will be on again. Can we really win away matches against Rwanda, against some other teams that are in our group? That is the biggest question that we'll be begging for answers. And who knows what might have changed. Even Austin Eguavon might not be in charge by then, unless that the NFF will concretize things immediately and tell him you have to finish this job. And I also want to predict that if we fail eventually, nobody will be able to blame Austin Eguavon again because the failure had already been written on
from the George eras, finish the George days.
From those days, and so it will just be okay. Safe to say Eguavon can pass. What's the biggest picture for the years ahead?
All right, for later today, many of the players that we play are probably French players. Who are the players that you think need to step up? I mean, Maduka Okoye is one without a doubt because he's playing in Europe. He's the only guy playing in Europe and has somebody playing in Africa benching him. And that's because of the Nwabali status of February. So far, still the biggest boy in Nigeria at the moment.
And I think Nwabali is just as good as he is. If Maduka was really better, he could have displaced him in the last 2 international windows too.
You don't think his sentiment?
I don't think emotions. I don't think he's emotional. I don't think his sentiment.
You think he's better?
Nwabali
is as good as he is.
Nwabali is indeed better than Maduka. He could have displaced him. They had the chance, and he comes to camp late. Maybe not his fault, but he comes to camp late too. So how do you even show what you are able to do?
And Stan is always one of those who comes in.
So if I was Austin Eguavon or Olatunji Baruwa or whoever was going to make a decision who starts today, I would have even started Amas Obasoke, who plays in Ethiopia, who has been a kind of regular invitee into the Super Eagles, but has not been capped for a while now. Because if that guy was in Nigeria at the moment, he would be the number 1 choice for the Chan Eagles in December. But why not just throw him into the fray in this game
and then let him have his
game.
Which other players should we be looking out for today? I mean, this is the opportunity to take it.
The NFF already predicted yesterday from a mail that Trustekong and Calvin Bassey might be starting at centre-back. We might not see Gabriel Osho getting a place. All I know has returned to England.
Yeah.
So we'll either see Bright Osayi Samuel playing number 2 and Bruno Hemechi playing number 3. But there is still Victor Collins from Nasarawa United, who I think should get a chance. William Trusecon should rest at this particular time. They need leadership. I think they can still get it from some other positions in the field too. I want to see Alassane Yusuf in the midfield today too. We've not really seen him since he had a bad game at AFCON. He had one good game, then had a bad one at AFCON. We've not even seen him since then. So I need him to be back in that team. Frank Onyeka, we've always said this guy is like a real deal.
Frank the Tank.
Frank the Tank. So then, just like Rafael Onyedika too, I want to see these 3 midfielders see what they can offer too. Then wing backs, Moses Simon has been here and there playing all those. But let's see other. But I don't know how many options we have in terms of wingers that we can use on those flanks. But up front too, maybe Sadiq Kumar, for all the noise that has been around him. Let's see him to play. Maybe he'll be able to prove Nigerians wrong. Why he deserves a place in the Super Eagles squad as well. And for record's sake, let's just have Victor Osimhen and continue. Then one man that needs to prove everybody wrong too is Victor Boniface.
He just needs to.
He needs to.
He can't be that good away. I mean, at your club side, and we don't even have a goal for the Super Eagles.
His international career and his club career are just 2 sides of a coin. Worlds and opposite. So he's one guy. He only needs a goal to refresh things.
Exactly.
And by then, when that goal comes, the goals might just start flowing for him.
Oh, the goals might just start flowing for him, and perhaps he started to be going up the ladder, looking at the top 10 highest goal scorers for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and getting a slot somewhere on that ladder. Very quickly, we switch over to what to expect this coming weekend. Of course, this last weekend was the last international break for the year. From now up until 2025, it's football aplenty every weekend and even during the week. So, fans of football, it's time to enjoy. Manchester City will be coming up against Spurs. Perhaps a team that Guardiola will not want to play at this time. That is having a very sad form. Same thing for Spurs as well. They've been on and off like the national grid in Nigeria, and perhaps they don't want to come up against a hungry or an injured Manchester City. Quick one, Bjorn.
Their problem, they look similar at these times. Ange Postecoglou has been, they say he's been avoiding the sack by every means possible at Tottenham Hotspur. But the problem is even more terrible for Pep Guardiola because of the standard that he and his team have created for themselves. He's lost 4 games on the bounce. But good enough now, the international break has cooled everything. Seems like we are starting afresh. But we will still not forget where we are coming from. So by the time we resume this weekend, we'll still remember that they've lost 4 games before this. And let's see what Postecoglou, Son, and every other Tottenham also player who also need resurgence will be able to. So like it's bad time for each of them because City are hungry. Tottenham Hotspur at the same time too, they are just
looking for something to eat.
So it's a bad time for the 2 of them to meet, but fair and square because bad for you, bad for the opponent. So let's just see who becomes badder or who becomes better eventually.
Is there the man Manchester United wanted? They've gotten their man Amorim, and he's going to be playing his very first Premier League encounter against Ipswich. This is an Ipswich side that they don't know big boys. They don't know small boys.
Tractor boys.
They don't nothing. They
plow anything.
So it's a tricky one. Quick one, Biodu.
Well, the way I see Ipswich, I don't think their momentum is going to be affected by anything. But they have players that hardly get called up to national team. So they probably have been training when many of Manchester United players have been busy. Amorim had the whole time to scheme, plan and all that, but he'll be welcoming his players back, all of them maybe latest by Tuesday, and from there he will begin to work. So I don't think anything will change about Ipswich, but it would be nice to see Amorim beginning his era with a win at least for Man United. Then whatever coloration we see on that day will go a long way to tell what the team is going to look like under him in the long run. But I think the major problem is still there. I just feel maybe in another 2 years, we'll just come back to the same situation with Eric Ten Hag.
Wow. Maximum of 2 years. All right, very quick one. Liverpool, table toppers, and they are flying regardless of which break comes and which break doesn't come. We're playing against Southampton. Looks like a straight 3 point. Investors, it's time to shine.
Liverpool don't feast these days. They just
2-1.
2-1, 2-0. A deviation from the norm. What we used to see under Jurgen Klopp. They don't feast these days, but I trust that, yes, they should still be able to get the job done the way they've been doing it over Southampton by weekend.
The first game of the weekend as regards EPL football is Chelsea versus Leicester City. Leicester just go back from relegation, we all know that. And a resurgent Chelsea side under Enzo Maresca. Former manager of Leicester City. I mean, they just poached him from Leicester. So they kind of understand each other.
Yeah.
What's the 90 minutes likely to look like?
We are going to see Maresca's handwriting on both teams. But I think Chelsea are as good as whatever Leicester did to gain promotion. So it doesn't look like Leicester will have anything over Chelsea in that game.
Looks like it's just going to be easy.
It might not be so easy, but Leicester have not been convincing in the Premier League as well.
That's true. That not scoring goals. Vardy just had some on and off moments. Yeah. And of course, it's time for us to quickly switch to perhaps the most interesting sporting event of this past few days of the weekend. Mike Tyson, you all know him, 58 years of age, fighting a YouTuber. And although a lot of persons have come out to say what we saw was acting, that Mike Tyson wasn't exactly eating him and all that, but over 6 million live viewers on Netflix. It was the biggest thing that was talked about as regarding sports, watched far and wide. Looks more like it was entertainment, but hey, entertainment when you are getting paid. I think I like it.
I wanted to say how is that even categorized, as much as it is boxing? How is it sport at that moment? Because it was about the streams, it was about the engagements, and it was about the money, it was about the numbers that fight was going to do. So thankfully, for whatever distress Tyson had put himself onto, I think he got well paid for it.
All right, Princess, it's time for us to go. Thank you very much for being a part of this package. Today, the 18th day of November, 2024. I think I'm ready to Abiodun Adewale. Like I said, it's our first time together after a long time, and I'm sure you enjoyed the De Bruyne Haaland combination. Hopefully, we're here next week again to give you a similar package. Thank you very much, you guys, our viewers, for watching. Have a fantastic week. Stay out of trouble.